Next on Worcester News tonight, dozens attend the city's annual Memorial Day ceremony, remembering veterans who lost their lives in service to the country. Plus, a wreath-laying ceremony at Green Hill Park honors Vietnam veterans, while Gold Star families share their memories of loved ones. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A beautiful Memorial Day as hundreds across central Massachusetts spend the day outdoors honoring our veterans with parades, ceremonies, and barbecues. Let's see what the rest of the evening has in store with a first look at our local forecast with meteorologist Tim Kelly.
We worked it out just right. It did rain, but most of the rain over the weekend happened Saturday at night. Today we have a front coming in. There's fog and low clouds coming in off the ocean. Cooler air, not necessarily too wet, coming down from the north, but there is wet coming in from the west. And there was a tornado warning right over Chicago. Severe weather. But because we're going to be on the cooler side, not expecting severe weather, expecting chilly, wet weather coming in for our Tuesday. Here is the wake-up forecast. We're in the 50s, but the temperature does not go up too much because the wind is coming in off the ocean. We may touch 60 for a minute. At lunchtime, though, rain arrives and the temperature actually goes down. Top of the hills may get down to the upper 40s. We may get close to an inch of rain tomorrow night and then gradually undo it in the 10-day forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Tim. Many stories of veterans who lost their lives in war are shared this morning at the city's annual Memorial Day ceremony at Hope Cemetery. Dozens say they're happy the city continues on with this celebration, but hope more come in the future to honor the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. Our Chandler Walsh has the story.
The city is honoring the men and women who lost their lives and fought for this country. Local veterans here at Hope Cemetery say they're happy with Worcester's long history paying tribute and hope others remember the importance of Memorial Day. A procession through Hope Cemetery honors those who died in the line of duty. Army veterans Ray Samko and Ken Park are thinking of their comrades.
My uncle, who's buried over in old Swedish cemetery across the street, and I have friends that are buried down in Arlington Memorial Cemetery who have passed away.
Since I'm a member of the Vernon Hill American Legion Post, I'd like to remember all the deceased members who are all veterans from the Vernon Hill Post.
City Councilor Mo Bergman is the chair of Veterans and Military Affairs. He says he's proud to be from a city with a rich history of honoring veterans. This is the 131st Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony at Hope Cemetery.
We respect and understand the sacrifice that they've made. There's no question that the tradition in Worcester will continue forever.
Park served in Germany during the Korean War, and Samko served there during the Vietnam War. They've come to the remembrance ceremony for decades and say as the years go by, the crowds get smaller.
You get a handful of people at the cemeteries, and that's about it. It's a shame. They do not want to remember, or they don't remember.
Park wishes more people would attend the city's events. He worries people are losing sight of what's important on the day designated to honor the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice.
The flags are supposed to be down at half-staff until noontime. I passed 10 places this morning on the way to the Vernon Hill Post, and I struck 100% all the way up.
But Bergman says seeing the younger generation is a promising sign. Families and children were among the dozens of attendees.
Every generation going forward, owes a debt of gratitude and duty to remember those that came before them.
North High School's junior ROTC also participated in the Hope Cemetery procession. Park and Samko say they're proud of the students and future generation for showing support. In Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Korean War veterans holding a service to remember the lives of those lost during the war in the early 1950s. A wreath-laying ceremony taking place at the Korean War Memorial on Foster Street Monday. Many were in attendance, including several Korean War veterans from central Massachusetts. Veteran Leo Quinn says he felt it was his duty to follow his brothers and enlist.
Well, I'm very proud to have served my country. I had 3 older brothers who served in World War II, and thank God they all came home all right. And then I said, well, I'm going to follow in their footsteps, so that's why I joined.
And Quinn says he is thankful for all the support he receives for serving his country, but he wants everyone to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. A crowd also gathered at the Massachusetts Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Worcester to remember. Several Gold Star families shared their stories of losing a loved one in the Vietnam War. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us live from the memorial now with more. Brittany.
Olivia, 3 Gold Star families laid this wreath here during the memorial ceremony. Harry Custodian fought in the Vietnam War and lost his brother there. He says today is always extremely difficult. Memorial Day is emotional for Harry Custodian.
I was a jet engine mechanic, and my brother Michael was missing May 5th, 1968, off the coast of North Vietnam.
Michael Custodian was 19 years old when he went missing. 51 years later, his body hasn't been found. Harry says he thinks of his brother every day.
It was very, very upsetting, and I couldn't believe it happened to him. It was bad enough to be in Vietnam, but when you hear news like that, it's very distressful, and on me and the whole family. And still, 51 years, it's still difficult.
Monday, dozens gathered at the state's Vietnam War Memorial in Worcester to remember the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Ronnie Stryker, Medal of Honor recipient, Ronnie Payne, all of these guys, I remember. And I'll never forget.
I mentioned their names. I kind of broke down a little bit because I can see their faces. They were 18, 19 years old, 20, and I could still see them when they were kids. And I wonder what they would grow up to be.
Vietnam veterans say it's nice to see others honor their service. When they returned from war, they didn't receive the support members of the military get now.
So you're proud, you're a Marine, you went to Vietnam, and you wanted to wear your uniform, and they told us not to because it would create problems. It's a lot different today. They have respect for the Vietnam veterans, so we're happy for that.
Patricia Austin remembers her brother Michael, who died when the vehicle he was in hit a landmine. She says it's important to remember what this holiday is really about.
I was in high school and they called us out to tell us that my parents came and got us and took us home to tell us he had been killed. It's a very sad day. I'm glad that people are doing this, but I wish there was more remembrances.
Michael Custodian's name is here on the monument. His brother Harry reminds everyone freedom is not free and it's important to respect our veterans. Live in Worcester, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
2 months after a fire destroyed the American Legion post in Auburn, the fire department is looking to help them rebuild. Money collected from a fundraiser will help the Chester P. Tuttle post start over. Our Cam Jandro has the story.
Olivia, it was back in March when a fire devastated the Chester P. Tuttle post here in Auburn. Members have one goal: to completely rebuild. And on this Memorial Day, the fire department stepped in and helped move that process forward. Commander Richard Larson remembers the emotions of he and his fellow veterans when a 3-alarm fire destroyed the Chester P. Tuttle post in Auburn.
The night it was burning, we had a lot of the members come down, and there were just tears everywhere. I mean, it was just a sad day for all of us.
Monday, the fire department presented the American Legion post with a check of more than $5,000 to help them rebuild.
We raised $5,600 in 5 hours.
Larson says his affiliation with the post goes back more than 60 years. Receiving the check on Memorial Day made it extra special.
It means a lot to me, a lot to our post in general, We've got a lot of veterans, a lot of people that fought.
Earlier this month, Auburn Fire hosted a community motorcycle ride to raise money for the post. Firefighter James Sweeney helped organize the event.
They're a nonprofit organization and they give a lot back, and it's a lot of veterans, and serving in the Marine Corps, I thought it was important to give back to this organization.
Larson says they're hoping to build on the site of the current building. The goal is to have the new Tuttle post up and running around Christmas.
We have guys that went through wars, so this is a setback, but I know we can get through it.
Friday nights here, fish and chips. Everybody's waiting for it to come back.
Now, Commander Larson says they're hoping to hear back from their insurance company rather soon. After that, they'll meet with an architect in hope of designing a new building. In Auburn, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
And the town of Auburn celebrates Memorial Day with their annual parade. The Auburn Middle School Band was one of numerous participants this year, hundreds lining the street in the center of town to celebrate and honor those who served. Following the parade, marchers made their way to Hillside Cemetery for a full memorial service. Seven Saws Brewing and Holden celebrating the one-year anniversary of their tap room with a Memorial Day party. The brewery's beer garden was open until 6 p.m. The day included raffles, music, games, food, and of course beer. All proceeds collected from the raffle will go to Project New Hope. It's a nonprofit organization serving area veterans and their families.
I've reached out to several in the community and they've all donated a raffle prize, and what we're doing is we're selling raffle tickets and all of the proceeds are going to Project New Hope. In addition, we've had some very talented young ladies make some Seven Saws koozies and we're donating the funds to that too.
And all raffle items were donated by local businesses in Holden and nearby. Switching gears now, Worcester police are investigating a body found near a Little League field in the city. They say a man's body was found by the Ted Williams Little League in Beaverbrook Park early Saturday morning. The man's identity has not been released and no arrests have been made. Police say it appears it may have been a medical emergency. The cause of death is under investigation. A second person is arrested in connection to a fatal shooting in Worcester earlier this month. Worcester police say Ariana Marie Boss has been charged as an accessory after the fact. She was arrested on Friday and released on $5,000 bail. Boss lives with 26-year-old Devin Rivera. He's facing multiple charges in the fatal shooting, including murder. The victim was found shot several times in the driver's seat of a car parked on Russell Street. A 15-year-old is recovering after a shooting in downtown Oxford. It happened Saturday afternoon on Main Street. The victim, who went to get help near the library, is expected to be okay. Police say a 17-year-old suspect was arrested after fleeing the scene. A gun was located several hours after the shooting.
This goes to show you that things like this can happen, even in small communities like this. So you want to use caution. You want to make sure you actually know who your friends are and what they're all about.
Police say the victim and the suspect did know each other. The 17-year-old is looking at several charges, including attempted murder and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. More charges are possible.